Welcome to the Locals Guide. In today's Locals Guide episode, we're going to be talking about the Raleigh Inner Loop, which consists of both Interstate 40 and 440. Fun fact, this is not my first Interstate 440 video. This was all the way back in March of last year, but I decided not to release it to the public, but instead am doing this video. Also, Interstate 440 was once concurrent with Interstate 40 all the way up until 2008, where it was truncated to the east side of the city at exit 301. So let's get started with the Raleigh's Inner Loop. But first, you're watching the TheDerpHog, where I make highways content on all sorts of different topics. If you've been enjoying it, be sure to hit that like button, and if you've been really enjoying it, be sure to smash that subscribe button so you're notified on all future videos. And if you really want to help out the channel, become a member today, where you get custom cool emojis, early access to future videos, along with one free extra request per month. And if you don't want to become a member, you can always just pay $3 for a intersection request in future videos. Those highways will be listed down in the description below, and I'll make sure to shout you out when that video releases. So let's get on with the highway. Here's the map of the Raleigh Inner Loop. It consists of Interstate 40 in blue and Interstate 440 in red. And the reason why it's highlighted is to emphasize that I've been on this highway a lot of times. Seriously, it's a lot that I cannot count how many times I've been on this highway. So with that, we're talking about eastbound Raleigh Inner Loop. So we begin here, just 3/4 mile of the Interstate 40 exit at exit 101 on US 1. Which is signed for Walnut Street and Buck Jones Road. And if you like shopping, I recommend taking exit 101 because it takes you to a huge shopping complex called the Crossroads Shopping Center. And a little ways up the road, we're now passing by this helpful sign here, which is one of my own pictures. And if you want to stay on US 1/Interstate 440, it'll take you to North Raleigh, while you can take 40 East to get to Raleigh downtown. Now we're meeting Interstate 40 itself, which is signed west for the airport and Durham, which are great choices, while 40 East gets signed for Benson and Rocky Mount. Rocky Mount's a great choice for US 64 East, but we all know what that Benson should be, really. Wilmington! It should be Wilmington! Because NC's obsession with Benson is just too much for me to handle, and for everyone else to handle. Plus, no one's heard of Benson, or they have by now, but it should not be signed. That should be Wilmington. Meanwhile, while 440 and US 1 are now signed for Wake Forest. And here's my own picture of the 40 West exit, along with a 40 shield and 440 shield. And seriously, NC obsession with Benson is a little too much because they decided to name it after a guy with the name Benson in his name. I'm pretty sure Cliff Benson was a great dude, but seriously, I don't want to see any more Benson throughout the rest of this video. And we're also meeting exit 1C here. Here I'm meeting exit 2, which is signed for Western Boulevard and takes you over to a portion of NC State's campus, which is a portion that I've been on because I actually went there for a school field trip to learn about voting. Yay. And afterwards, I got to tour the NC State's baseball stadium and their tennis courts, which was pretty cool. Here being the eastern terminus of North Carolina Highway 54, which takes you onto Hillsborough Street and Meredith College. Now we're meeting the Wade Avenue Freeway / Wade Avenue, and if you take this exit, it'll take you to downtown Raleigh, which takes you to a wonderful burger joint here called Mojo's Burger Joint, or you can decide to go west on Wade Avenue to get back to Interstate 40 to head points west from here. And then after passing through all that construction at exits 1C, 2, 3, and 4, now meaning exit 5 for Lake Boone Trail, which is where the North Carolina Art Museum is, which sadly I have not been to yet, but I'd love to go one day. Now we're meeting exit 6, which is for Ridge Road, and heading westbound on 440, it's actually morphed into exit 7, as we're going to be seeing in a little bit. And speaking of exit 7, we're going to be meeting US 70 and North Carolina Highway 50 soon. Here's the exit for North Carolina 50 and US Highway 70, as they're signed for Glenwood Avenue and Crabtree Valley and Durham. Personally, since we're doing a control for 70 West, I'd like to see something for North Carolina 50 North instead of Crabtree Valley. How about Creedmoor, because that's where North Carolina 50 ends. Also here on exit 7 is the Crabtree Valley Mall, which is a pretty awesome mall I recommend checking out if you're ever here in Raleigh. Here I'm meeting exit 8, which is 6 Forks Road, and exit 8A was actually part of my childhood, because I remember taking it all the time to get into downtown Raleigh to visit my grandmother where she worked at the time. And I've actually also been on exit 8B as well, because I actually spent the day in North Hills one time. It was actually pretty awesome. And a little ways up the road, we're now meeting Wake Forest Road at exit 10. And I've actually also been off this exit here too, because I've actually been to a candy shop that's somewhere off this road. I sadly forgot the name of the shop, so I couldn't remember where it is. And we're also going to be meeting US 401 soon, which is signed for Wake Forest and Lewisburg. Here is where US 1 splits off from Interstate 440 to join US 401, as they're heading north for Wake Forest and Lewisburg. And we're going to be meeting exit 12 soon, which is signed for Yonkers Road. And the cool thing about exit 12 is that it's a different exit going westbound on 440. But let's see what we're signed for here on US 401. Oh, looks like that we're now signed east for Rocky Mount, which I think is a good choice. Now we're meeting New Bern Avenue, which you can take to get into downtown Raleigh, or you can take US 64 Business East to get to Knightdale. Let's see what we're signed for on Business US 64. Please excuse me for a second. What did I say earlier in the video? I did not want to see any more Benson, but I have to, because NC Dot decides to sign 440E for Benson. What happened to Rocky Mount, NC Dot? Like, where did it go? Why are you replacing it with Benson? Again, with your obsession with Benson, I do not want to see this. Now we're meeting Interstate 87 and US 64, and 64 West and 87 South are going to be current with us, as you can see on this pull through. And you can take 64 and 87 over to Rocky Mount, Wilson, and Greenville. Also, nobody cares about Poole Road. Even me as a local, that's why I'm going to be skipping it here on both directions on the Raleigh Interloop. And then after passing Poole Road, we're now meeting the eastern terminus of Interstate 440, and we have an exit for 40 East, which is signed for Benson and Wilmington. Hey NC Dot, that's the correct use of Benson, not how you've been using it within the Raleigh city limits. While 40 West is signed for Durham, which is a great choice. And here is the official ending of Interstate 440 and Interstate 87, as we're going to be transitioning into Interstate 40 proper. And here on Interstate 40 proper, our first exit is exit 300 for Rock Quarry Road. And at exit 299, we can actually see the Raleigh skyline from Interstate 40, which is actually pretty cool. Now we're meeting US Highway 70 and US 401 in North Carolina 50 once again, and they're signed south for Gardner, and the Kentucky Dream of South Saunders Street. No, I'd rather see Fuquay on there, please, because that's where US 401 goes. Man, what is the deal with NC Dot only favoring one highway and not the other in concurrencies here in Raleigh? Here is the exit for the States Farmers Market, which is a good place that you should visit. And here on this exit, I actually took a picture of the 40 West Control City for Durham, which is a great choice. And at the next exit, we're also still signed for Durham, and another picture taken by me. And this is also one of my own pictures, and we're going to be meeting Interstate 440, which is signed east for Raleigh, Cary, and Wake Forest. And further up the road, here's the actual distributor lane exits for 440 and US 1. So with that, returning around and doing westbound Raleigh inner loop. So we begin here at exit 293 on eastbound 40, and this time 440 is signed east for Care and Wake Forest because they're wanting to make eastbound 40 to get to Raleigh from here. And then further up the road, after passing by exit 295, we're now meeting Lake Bureau Road once again. And we're also going to be meeting US 70 and US 401 and North Carolina 50 in 1 mile. And then here's exit 299 for Person Street and Hammond Road, which is one of the many exits to get into downtown Raleigh. And here's exit 300 for Rock Quarry Road. And 120 miles southeast of here is Wilmington. And here's where Interstate 40 is splitting off from 440, as 440 is now signed west for Rocky Mount because of Interstate 87 and US 64. And once upon a time, there was no such thing as Interstate 87 or Interstate 495. We just had US 64 and 264, which were signed for Wilson and Rocky Mount, and with Greenville as an afterthought. But hey, NC-DOT decided to have an Interstate 495, so they made one and actually put Greenville on the sign. But then no, they decided on wanting another interstate, so they deleted 495 and made Interstate 87. Personally, I don't think Interstate 87 should exist. I think it should be Interstate 54, because it's just cool to see an Interstate 54 here in the Raleigh area. Plus, right now 87 is actually going east and west and not actually north and south. And we also have a pull through for 440 here. Hey NC-DOT, what is the purpose of this gantry right up here when you have the exit all the way over there? See, I told you that exit 12 is different on westbound 440. Instead of Yonkers Road, we're now signed for Brentwood Road. And we're going to be meeting US 401 once again in about a mile. And then a little ways up the road, we're now meeting Six Forks Road once again, which takes you into North Hills and downtown Raleigh. And here's where we're meeting US Highway 70 and North Carolina Highway 50. And as you can see, exit 6 on eastbound has been morphed with exit 7A on westbound 440. And then a little ways up the road, we're now meeting the Wade Avenue Freeway once again, and this time it's for RDU Airport and Durham. And personally, I think that the Wade Avenue Freeway should actually be Interstate 340 for RDU Airport and Durham, because it's a freeway and it's very important here in the Raleigh area, so why not make it interstate standards? And then here I mean North Carolina Highway 54, which just gets Hillsborough straight this way. And it looks like that NC-DOT is actually putting up a pull through here for 440, and we're signing south for Sanford, which is a great choice. And here's an exit that wasn't on eastbound 440, but is on westbound 440, exit 1D for Melbourne Road. And here's this helpful sign here at exit 1, and you can take it to get to Gardner on 40 East. 40 West was signed for Airport and Durham, which are great choices. But no, NC-DOT decided not to do Gardner or Wilmington. Instead, they're doing Benson. Again, with this Benson obsession, no one likes it. That Benson should be either Gardner or Wilmington. 40 West is signed for the airport and Durham still. Yay! As we can see here, there's a Interstate 440 end shield. Let's zoom up to see it. Alright, here we go. We now end Interstate 440, as it's going to be turning back into US 1 and US 64 to head south towards Sanford, Apex, and Cary. So with that, we're going to be ending the Raleigh Inner Loop and moving on to the places you'll go. So these are all the places that you should visit if you're ever on the Raleigh Inner Loop. First, you should visit downtown Raleigh, and after that, you can visit the History and Science Museums in downtown Raleigh. And then if you like shopping, you can visit the Crabtree Valley Mall. And if you like to eat burgers, you can visit Mojo's Burger Joint. And then you can personally also visit the North Carolina Museum of Art off of Lake Boone Trail. And if you want to, you can actually visit the North Carolina State Capitol, along with local parks here, and the surrounding cities here in the Raleigh area. And also visit the State's Farmers Market, along with Yates Mill, because all those places are actually pretty cool. And that ends the Raleigh Inner Loop. Thank y'all so much for watching this video on the Raleigh Inner Loop. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about the highway, and I hope one day you can come and visit Raleigh and visit all those places. So next week I'm going to be returning to Interstate 555, and then after that I'm going to be starting my college football series. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see y'all next week.